Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And this is going to be a show I am absolutely going to enjoy. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And as you guys know, a few years ago, when it was announced that JJ Redick was going to be coming to ESPN, we're one of the channels that actually covered it. And I expressed my excitement of having JJ Redick on ESPN. And when he first came, it was all kumbaya. But as time went on, I began to realize that JJ Redick is one of these guys that is always going to defend NBA players. He's never going to really say it how it is, and he's like the unofficial spokesperson for NBA players whenever he goes on television. And that's something I didn't like. Why? Because I believe your goal is to go out there and tell the audience what you truly believe. Not to defend your peers or defend that person. Say what, and if they disagree with you, but you're telling the truth and you truly believe that's what you believe, what you're saying in your heart, so be it. That is the thing that I believe that separates Charles Barkley from everybody else. Charles Barkley doesn't care. That's the reason why you'll see him get into spats with the late Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, DeMarcus Cousins, and so on and so on. Because Charles is going to tell you exactly what he thinks. And he's like, these people don't pay me, so I don't need to be saying what they want me to say. That's what separates Charles from everybody else. And to me, I believe that JJ does his viewers a disservice because he's always looking at it from an angle of defending players. And I don't like that. That's the reason why you had Ben Simmons go up on his show and he didn't ask Ben Simmons a single question that would cause him to hold himself accountable on that show. He was just throwing him softball after softball after softball. At no point did he say, hold up, Ben, I'm going to call cap on that respectfully, and then have the person push back. Where am I going with all of this? Today I was watching Undisputed, and I came across a segment with Paul Pierce on the show. Now, y'all know Paul Pierce, the truth, a hell of a basketball player when he was playing in the league. And in this particular segment, they were talking about James Harden possibly joining the Clippers. And when it came time for Paul Pierce to talk, he absolutely went off, but it didn't even stop there. There was another segment where they had Keyshawn, who's always on the show, and they were talking about the Lakers, and they were talking about Austin Reaves. And in most cases, most guys will sit up there and twerk it up, right? Not really say what it is. But when it came to Paul Pierce, he was like, nah, I don't think so. Nobody was checking for this dude, and that's why he got off last year. So for those of you who didn't see that exchange, take a listen to what Paul Pierce had to say here, and then we'll come back. Take a listen to that there.
All right, Paul, what do you think?
I really don't even see a perfect fit for James Harden. I mean, I know all the rumors have been going toward the Clippers, but let's say he does go to the Clippers. You got Westbrook over there, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. Is he willing to take a lesser role? Is he going to come off the bench? Does he start? He hasn't been there for training camp. Westbrook understands the system. He played well for him at the end of last year. And so is he willing to drop his ego, play a role? Otherwise, I don't see it even being a good fit for the Los Angeles Clippers, let alone any other team in the league.
Okay.
I like the fit. I like the fit with the Clippers. I just don't think.
But does he come off the bench? Does he start?
No, he starts. Russ goes to the bench, which, Russ has shown a little bit more willingness. Russ is turning 35 in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He understands where he is at this point in his career. He actually was very encouraging during training camp. Someone asked him, they're kind of goading him, are you going to get back to your old self the way you were before you were at the Lakers?
I'll show you that in just a moment.
Great.
But the point is, I'm with Paul on this.
Really?
At some point, this league is going to say no to James Harden because he's 34 going on 44. He does not stay in great shape. And look, the best way I can sum up his career is he is obviously supremely gifted. As great a perimeter scorer when he was right as we've ever seen. But he has loser intangibles where when you need him the most, you trust him the least because he's flamed out in playoff after playoff after playoff. So what happened against your Celtics, Paul?
Home game, game 6.
Hey,
you got two opportunities to step up.
You've got it. You score 45 in game 1, then you come back with 42 in game 4, and I'm saying, oh, there he is. I picked the Sixers to win it all last year. I think, okay, they got it now. No, they don't got it because in those 2 games, he completely and utterly disappeared, as we've seen repeatedly. So to me, the prospect of James Harden reuniting with Russell Westbrook back from their Oklahoma City days in the backcourt is double jeopardy, because I'm going to remind everybody, if you go back to 2016-17, James Harden was first in the league in turnovers and Russ was second. 2018, Russ won, James 2. 2019, James 1, Russ 2. In turnovers, it goes year after year. Trae Young took them over, and they finished 2 and 3 in 2020. Then Russ led in 2021. James was second in 22. These are the two highest turnover makers that we've probably ever seen as a duo in the history of this league. And remember, Russ, over the last 7 years, has shown you repeatedly he is the highest turnover plus worst three-point shooter we've ever seen in combination in the history of this league, because he's always at the very bottom of three-point shooting and at the very top in turnovers. So how can you put those two together? If you think Ty Lue needed a sabbatical back in the day when LeBron was there, he would need a mid-season sabbatical, because these two would hasten his retirement.
It takes me a minute to think. I got guts. I just changed. I'm a homer. There's no question about it. Now, look, Phoenix, certainly with the addition of Bradley Beal, they got something. And I believe in KD. But I can't go against a 39-year-old LeBron James. And then we went out and got Woods. I can't. And now AD feels to me like he wants to be the guy for the Lakers. Agree. He's talking about being the guy. He's never once said, I got to be the guy. Yeah. Now, all of a sudden, he's saying it. He's standing up tall and saying, I'm going to be the guy. So at 39 years old, with all the LeBron hate that you bring to the table, I'm here to erase that.
Truth I bring? Yeah.
How do you... Skip, here we go. Yep. And then Austin Reaves, obviously, he can obviously take a different role in clutch time, closing situations. You know, Austin Reaves, I know, Paul, you looking at it.
I'm not sold. I'm just not sold.
How could you not be sold?
I mean, he wasn't on the scouting report last year. We all know that. People in the NBA know that. When you're not on the scouting report, you got free reign to go out there and ball out. Now, when you come into these arenas, you're on the scouting report.
But how long was he off the scouting report?
All year.
It's 82 games.
At some point, listen, we're not respecting Austin Reaves. He got to do this for a whole season for us to respect this. Go ahead. We're going to let him kill. Go ahead. We're going to let you do that. If he gonna ball out and y'all win, man, hats off.
But I'm not saying he's got to score 25. I'm talking about the shots that matter. In certain situations where LeBron and AD are not the closers, now all of a sudden, last year's playoff games, they were the closers in the situations. Austin Reaves was not. So now maybe they give him an opportunity at times to close it out. I understand you saying scouting report, but he had 82 games to figure him out. And you just let him roll into the playoffs?
When you got LeBron and AD, that's where we before the game, this is all we talking about. If Austin Reaves scores 25, like I said, hats off, y'all deserve to win, period. But now he's going to be on the scouting report. They're going to game plan for him. I mean, he had a great year last year. He went to the USA team, looked solid. So now everybody's taking notice. Everybody takes notice when you start playing well. And so now they're going to be like, we're going to game plan for this now. Now you're going to be game. Yeah, but he got paid. Like now, they not worried. I'm telling you, this is how it works, Keyshawn.
No, look,
this is how it works.
You played in the NBA.
So you heard what he had to say. Let me tell you guys, I love it. I love it. You will never see JJ Redick say something. Never, ever say that. Ever. If Paul Pierce had his own show, I could legitimately see NBA players turning it down because, like, nah, I'm not feeling, son. Why? Because he said X, Y, and Z about me. But if it's the truth, it's the truth. And number two, if you believe it, say it. What's going to happen? Say what you believe. And I love the fact that he kept that. And I loved it. I think there's too much buddy, give me a hug, give me a kiss. I think dudes just need to keep it real. Not in a disrespectful way, but like, no. Now, there are going to be some people out there that saw that and say, well, you know, he a Boston Celtics, so he going to hate. That's understandable. That's an understandable position to say, to take. But the part when he said about guys that came into the, that had a hot year and nobody was checking for them, did he tell a lie? Do you guys not remember Linsanity? You remember Linsanity? Where he took over the whole NBA for like 2-3 months? Some dude that came out of nowhere when Carmelo Anthony got injured or Carmelo wasn't playing or something like that. And all of a sudden that game, he scored like 28 points against Kobe Bryant and dudes was getting ready to be like, yo, son is the best player, blah, 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 blah. Then what happened? Teams started paying attention to him and then they shut that down. And then we found out Linsanity wasn't as insane as a lot of us thought he was. So what Paul Pierce is saying is absolutely true. if a player has a breakout year and catches the league off guard, chances are they're going to start paying more attention to him the following season. And the part he made, and the point he brought up about scouting reports, obviously, when you're covering the Lakers, you're going to be focusing on LeBron James and AD. And to finally bring home his point, if Austin Reaves was that dude before he took off because of the hard work and everything that he put in, why wasn't he drafted higher? Why wasn't he one of these heralded players? I think he came out of one of these small towns somewhere in the States. So it's not like as if Paul is saying something that's not true. To me, what I enjoyed was his candor. That's what I enjoy. And I think that's what that show needs. If you listen to that segment with Paul Pierce, Skip Bayless, and Keyshawn Johnson, for the very first time, you saw some very good balance when they were talking basketball. For the very first time. Because Skip is going to hate on LeBron no matter what. Keyshawn is going to twerk it up for the Lakers every single day no matter what. He's going to support every single thing the Lakers do. LeBron, he's going to defend everything. But Paul is like, nah, I'm feeling this. I'm not feeling that. And I think that's what the show needs, man. You need dudes to keep it a little bit more real. We've been watching some content with some creators talking about, like, some people analyzing our content. They're like, yo, sometimes, I don't always agree with him with what he says, but somebody making some points sometimes. That's the whole point. I'm not up here to agree with every single thing that a person takes. But you know what people know about this show is that they know that this guy has a position. So therefore, you know what you're getting. Those people that agree with every single thing don't have followers. Nobody cares to hear what they think because they're going to agree with everything. They're not willing to take a position that's controversial. Or most people are, to quote Kwame Brown, part of the go along, get along gang. Here to agree with every single thing. Even if it doesn't make it has a zero iota of sense within it. As long as they heard it from somewhere else, they're going to parrot it along. So-and-so said it. Son plays here. Son play here. You know what he said? I agree with him. As to quote Kwame Brown, the go along, get along gang. The sheep of YouTube. Let me just follow all these other dudes because I'm a follower and I can't think for myself. So I'm going to just agree with everything some big name says without thinking for myself. That's where we at. So to me, listen, I think that's what that show needs. It provides a balance and a sense of, it makes the show a little bit more raw. And I think that's what you need. You don't need guys up there twerking it up 24/7. You got some dudes that have a position here or there. But I think if you have that balance that Paul Pierce brought, I enjoyed it. I personally enjoyed it. And I don't think Paul was trying to clickbait you or troll you or get a hot take. I just think he was keeping it 100. So Paul Pierce, you may not see the show, but if you do, shout out to you, man, for keeping it 100 on that show. I loved it. He was like, nah, I'm not feeling it. I loved it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the show, whatever you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comments when we catch you on the next episode. Peace.